Hello everybody, this is Whoppy Claude and welcome back to another video where today I'm doing something a little bit different from what I normally would do. So today I'm actually doing a collaboration with another YouTube channel called Refresh Broccoli, and we're going to be discussing what the best and the worst stories of Doctor Who are. So we are both big fans of the show and we thought it would be fun to do something on it together, and so this is how it's going to work. I'm going to be talking over and reviewing the best story of Doctor Who in my opinion, and he's going to be talking about the worst story. And by the way, this is only from modern Doctor Who, so from the 2005 revival to the present day, none of the old stuff. And so another video is going to be going live on Refresh Broccoli's channel at about the same time this one is, and in that one we're going to be discussing what the best and worst whole series of Doctor Who is. So if you do enjoy this video, then you can go and see that one afterwards. I'll give more information about it in the end anyway, so stick around for that. Oh yeah, and by the way, this isn't my house. I've actually broken into someone else's house to film this video. Oh shit. But yeah, so we're actually just staying here whilst the moving is still happening. It's very nearly done. The day I'm filming this is actually my last day here. So in my opinion, the best ever story of Doctor Who is Series 4's Silence in the Library and The Forest of the Dead two-parter. They are the 9th and 10th episodes of Series 4, and they aired on the 31st of May and the 7th of June 2008, which is 12 years ago. I can do maths. Both of these episodes were written by Stephen Moffat and directed by Euros Lyn, and I think that's how you pronounce it, but I'm not sure. So since these episodes are from Series 4, they feature David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, who is the most popular Doctor, alongside Series 4's consistent companion, Donna Noble, played by Catherine Tate. This Doctor and companion duo is definitely my favourite one, and so that also plays a big part in this story being my favourite. Series 4 is consequently also my favourite series of Doctor Who. Doctor Who? That's not what I meant to say. Doctor Who. Wow. Consequently, Series 4 is also my favourite series of Doctor Who because of the wonderful and refreshing friendship dynamic between the Doctor and the companion, especially after the previous 3 seasons having romantic bonds between the Doctor and their respective companions. Both of the characters are played by really talented actors, and having their bond unclouded by romance allows it to focus purely on the amazing charisma and chemistry between the two of them. There are brilliant comedic moments in these episodes alongside more sobering, dramatic events, which allows us to see their characters being pushed to the limits as well as the actors' amazing acting capabilities. Series 4 is also known for its amazing stories, with not one of them falling flat in my opinion. Each episode of this series has been held with high praise, and that trend continues into these 2 episodes I'm reviewing today. Despite being my personal favourite Doctor Who story, it's not the best in terms of ratings. The 2 parts only scored 9.2 out of 10 and 9.5 out of 10 on IMDb, which although is an amazing score that not many things can achieve, it's beaten out by Series 3's more popular episode Blink, which scored 9.8 out of 10. However, I haven't chosen Blink as my favourite episode, as although I do love it and think that it's an innovative and cinematic masterpiece, the fact that the Doctor isn't really in it for the majority of the episode makes it feel a lot less Doctor Who-y for me. On the other hand, the Doctor plays a major role in this story, so it isn't an issue. Back on the subject of characters, the guest characters in this story are written and acted really well. This results in you getting a good chance to empathise with them, and they actually feel like real people, which is a feat that Doctor Who usually doesn't pull off too well. Usually, a cast of guest characters are introduced and then killed off before we even really get a chance to know them, which results in us being really unaffected and not caring when they die. Orphan 55.
Benny, 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 Benny.
However, in this story, I do feel like you really get to know them well, and their backstory, their personalities, their hopes and their dreams, meaning that you actually care about them as the story progresses. On top of this, fan favourite character River Song appears for the first time, and I personally think that this episode gives her the perfect entrance. She's surrounded by mystery, as she knows everything about the Doctor, even his real name, which is something that we as viewers still don't even know to this day. But on the other hand, the Doctor is just as clueless about her as we are. Her performance is also impeccable in the story, and it sets up the long-time character arc that goes 7 years from then all the way to Series 9. Her mysterious and intriguing past also really helps add to the mystery elements of this episode. Now then, onto the actual episodes. They feel really high budget and also really well produced, with big sets and really good visual effects, especially for the time, which is a department that the older episodes generally fail in. For an episode that aired all the way back 12 years ago, the effects still hold up today, which is a really impressive feat, really. The effects aren't particularly flashy, like a Marvel movie or something, but they subtly add to the story in a really interesting way, other than getting all up in your face and actually subtracting from it. The story also has something that I feel is generally missing from the more mediocre episodes of Doctor Who, and that is good, scary horror. Ooh. Doctor Who doesn't really focus on horror that much, as it's usually regarded as a family show, but the times when it does horror really well. The episodes that are on the more scary side are usually regarded really highly. Think Blink, Listen, The Waters of Mars, The Empty Child, The Doctor Dances, stuff like that. And Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead are no exception to this. Although there are not that many specifically scary moments in these episodes, there's a brilliantly executed looming sense of dread that kind of hangs over the whole thing and solidifies the danger. There are many tense and horrifying moments that aren't like that because of scary imagery, but because of the really good storytelling. And whilst they're not the most important moments of the episodes, the bits that are meant to be disturbing are backed up by solid graphics that gives a really good, satisfying climax to the tension. The villains of the story, the Vashta Narada, are also really well written and feel like they have a genuine threat. The fact that they can infest and create fake shadows, and if you step in those said shadows, your skin will literally melt off your skeleton, is a really, really interesting twist on the classic thing of being scared of the dark. They are really powerful enemies that are well matched to the Doctor's abilities, who have an intriguing story and understandable motives. They are also backed up well by the great storytelling, amazing costume design that cements them in reality, and the solid visual effects that I mentioned before. Overall, they're very strong foes and provide a good challenge to the Doctor and the others, as well as having an important part to play in the story, unlike some villains of more modern episodes. They're definitely villains I would be excited to see coming back in the future. Without delving too deep into it, I'll say that this story has a very interesting storyline that's still entertaining to watch even after numerous rewatches. There are numerous brilliant mysteries that secretly tie together, and they only get unravelled towards the end of the second part. For example, the plot-driving mystery of the thousands of people on the library planet that this story is set on suddenly disappearing without a trace, and then the library planet shutting down, drives the Doctor's end of the story, whilst a little girl in the comfort of her own house seems to have a deep connection with the library, being able to control and influence things happening there. Alongside this, the Doctor is also trying to figure out who Riversong is and why she's so important to him. As the story progresses, you learn how the two worlds are intertwined, and when Donna is killed, she appears in the world with the little girl. And in a traumatizing turn of events, her face is removed from her body and sewn on to an Amazon Alexa Google Home type robot. Yay!
There's a Donna Noble somewhere in this library. Do you have the software to locate her position?
Donna Noble has left the library. Donna Noble has been saved.
The story has interesting science fiction concepts, with people being unaware that they're trapped inside a computer living out their dream lives, kind of like their ever-popular Matrix franchise, and the way that the events play out keeps adding more and more to the mystery, making you want to watch even more. The episode also has a satisfying conclusion, with River sacrificing herself to save all the lost people, but then, in a turn of events, being saved and allowed to live out her days in the computer where all the people were trapped. I think this is a wonderful ending and really showcases the Doctor's compassionate nature, as even though he has no clue who she is or who she is to him and why she is so important, he was still devastated when he sacrificed herself and worked so hard in the ending to save her. Overall, this is an incredible episode that I feel truly deserves the title of the best episode of Doctor Who, at least for me. There are rarely any episodes that ever come this close, such as the finale of Series 10 or the Empty Child two-parter from Series 1. But for me, Silence in the Library and The Forest of the Dead just about takes the cake. It's one of Stephen Moffat's masterpieces, and due to him writing episodes like this, it makes him my favourite writer for the show. There aren't many criticisms I can make of this episode that aren't just specific nitpicking, so I'm not really going to go into that. Anyway, with all the positive stuff out of the way, let's get on to the more negative side of things. I'm now handing the video over to Refresh Broccoli, and he's going to be talking about the worst episode of Doctor Who ever. So, take it away. Alright, so just a quick warning before we start with Refresh Broccoli's part. There's a lot of swearing in this, and I don't have a problem with that personally, but I know that some people watching this would do. And I was going to censor this, but there is a lot, and so censoring it would take me a very, very long time, and I do want this video to come out at some point. And also, I feel it will kind of dampen his style of humour anyway. Alright, so that was your warning. Now let's get on with talking about what the worst episode of Doctor Who ever was.
Hello there, it's me, Refresh Broccoli here, back again for a brand new video. Shit, I just did my intro for my actual videos. No, this is a fucking collaboration. You gotta get your head in the game. Anyway, thank you to Wubba Lubba Dub Dub Kid for letting me onto his channel. I can't pronounce his name, he can't pronounce my son's name. We're even now.
Rest in peace, Junk? No, that's not.
Now, if you're unlucky enough to have seen a Refresh Broccoli video, you'll probably find them incredibly hard to watch due to me being incredibly cringeworthy and unfunny. Well, to the people who rightfully believe that to be true, have probably never seen this. Doctor Who's worst episode ever made, named Orphan 55. Now, this episode isn't just an insult to the Doctor Who fans who tuned in every week for years to keep this show running. It's also an insult to the British people. These beautiful and miserable people who have to put their own hard-earned money, put it up to the BBC to make shows for us. What does the BBC do? They give us shit like this. Like, I know the British people aren't the greatest people in the world, but come on, they deserve better than this, whatever the fuck this is, alright? This episode could be replayed to send somebody insane. I'd rather listen to 10 hours of Kids Bop than watch this once. Like, I'd say putting this episode next to Game of Thrones Season 8 makes Game of Thrones Season 8 look like The Godfather compared to Star Wars Episode 9. It truly is that fucking shit. So yeah, you can probably tell I really don't like this episode, but we are still gonna go through the episode and talk about it in detail. My English teacher would be proud. So yeah, the episode starts off and the Doctor and her fam, honestly, I don't know which retarded writer decided to call it the fam, but you know, I assume Chris Chibnall. All the fucking problems come from him nowadays. But anyway, they're in the TARDIS doing some fucking Doctor Who shit, you know, cleaning up some octopus oil or whatever. And then, what's his name? Gary comes out. I don't know his fucking name because I don't care anymore. And Gary has some cards and he's like, oh look, I just want a free fucking holiday. And he makes a fucking cube. All the fam crowd round and they're like, oh yeah, we get a free fucking holiday. And then they just get teleported in to this holiday place, you know. Even though it could be anywhere in the universe and anywhere in time. But, you know, who cares about continuity in this show anymore? Yeah, they go into this, like, fucking spa, and then we're introduced to this absolute abomination. I can tell the makeup team really took influence to how shit Katz was to make this character. Don't know, that's just what I picked up on there. So, yeah, the gang just wander off to enjoy their free holiday without any research into the local area. You know, I don't know, these cat people could be racist towards humans. Or, you know, you could be in Disneyland, Afghanistan. Who freaking knows? So yeah, everybody like fucks off to go do their own shit, you know. Ryan walks off and decides that he's gonna get a packet of crisps from this alien vending machine. Who knows how he's gonna pay for it with the currency from the certain planet. But you know, who cares? Yeah, a virus just jumps out of the fucking vending machine. But don't worry, because the Doctor knows CPR for this exact virus. Yeah, she just throws it into a crisp packet. And then the next scene, we meet not just one of the worst characters in this episode, not just one of the worst characters in this series, not just one of the worst characters in the show, but one of the worst characters on all of Sci-fi, alright? This fucking woman is the most annoying and most unnecessary thing in a show I have ever seen. It's just hysterical how bad this character is. She serves no purpose other than to fucking piss off the audience as much as possible. Seriously, a guy on YouTube made a compilation how many times she repeats the same phrase.
Benny, 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 Benny,
I'm surprised half of the people watching it didn't fucking shoot themselves halfway through. I've never been happier to see an innocent old woman die in a TV show ever. Honestly, this is probably the best moment of the TV show. I'm actually going to thank Chris Chibnall for killing off this character. It was just so satisfying. Yeah, but anyway, back to the episode. Some weird shit starts to happen, and an alarm goes off, and Ryan meets the love interest. But yeah, and some weird beast breaks in to the hotel and starts killing people, but you don't actually see it eat anybody. They just try and play this whole thing where, oh look, they turn the camera away and you just hear a crunch. But it really doesn't play out because it just looks really shitty and cheap. Yeah, all the characters meet up and the old woman realises that her fucking Benny is gone. Oh yay! Honestly, all the people should have just gone, you know what, he's fucking dead. We're not going out for him. But somehow, they have a fucking tracker on Benny, and the doctor decides to take out all the fucking people in this big fucking truck, including an elderly woman who is probably incapable of running away from fucking monsters, and also a child who looks to be under the age of 10. Decides to take them all out of the safer hotel to track down Benny, and then the doctor decides to get out of the truck to look around for Benny, but they don't find Benny, and they're also surrounded by the monsters. So they get back into the truck, and then the monsters start to bang on the truck, so they climb back out of the truck and run into fucking holes. Are you confused yet? Because I am. And as they're in the holes, Ryan's love interest decides to pull a gun on the soldier lady, and then it's revealed that the soldier lady is actually the love interest's mother. Like, it's completely unexpected. But that doesn't mean that it's good. You see, this girl said that she's been here for a few weeks. She could have had any time to pull a gun on her mother. But she decides to choose when she's in a fucking tunnel, being chased down by monsters, to pull a gun. And her whole plan anyway is just to blow up her mum's fucking spa, alright? Shouldn't she have just waited for them to all go out on the truck and just have been like, you know what guys, I'm gonna stay at the hotel, just because I feel like it's gonna be safer, and then set off the bombs? But yeah, she then runs off with Ryan back to the hotel and then starts to plant the fucking bombs. And then the rest of the people start to walk down into the corridors, and there's a fucking Russian sign on the wall. And then it's revealed that it's Earth, and everyone's like, oh, how could this possibly be Earth? I'll talk a little bit later about the writers trying to push political issues to seem smart in their episodes a little bit later. But for now, I'll just say that this twist was really shitty. But anyway, the doctor and the rest of the gang walk back into the hotel to try and stop the girl from setting off the bombs, which they don't do. They get a guy to set off a teleportation device, and then the doctor uses the virus in the crisp packet to activate the teleporter. But oh no, all the bad guys are surrounding the teleporter, so who's gonna hold them off? Soldier lady and Ryan's love interest, who fucking die smiling at each other. Even though 5 minutes ago, all they wanted to do was fucking kill each other. So yeah, I guess that's basically the end of the episode. Thank fuck that was over. If you're wondering why I moved to this, it's because I wanted a twist in the video to seem smart. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. Chris Chibnall shoveling in political issues into every fucking episode, because it really pisses me off because it's ruining the show. Season 11 first came out, everybody thought that Chris Chibnall was just having a fucking stroke while writing the entire season. Ever since season 12 came out, everybody has realised that this wasn't the case, and that Chris Chibnall just doesn't know how to write Doctor Who. And this episode proves this, because the entire episode is boring, uninteresting, and makes no sense. And it's all Chris's fault. Because the only thing Chris had in mind when making this episode was to complain about global warming. The Doctor does a big speech about how only the humans can stop global warming, but why can't the Doctor fucking do it? I mean, it seems like she stopped every other world-threatening event, so what's the difference with this one? The writers would probably make up some bullshit excuse saying, oh, she can't go back and change the timelines. There's an old episode where the Doctor talks about how there's no such thing as can't, and how you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Which, if the Doctor can't go back and stop global warming from destroying the planet, then that's going back on their own words. And that's pretty shitty from a writer's standpoint to go back on a character's words. There's been no real change in the Doctor other than they've changed their face, but the same morals are still there. So why can't she go and stop global warming? Oh, it's because the writers would rather complain about political issues and write a good Doctor story. Now, I could go on and on about how this episode fucking sucks balls, but all I can really explain is why and how it sucks balls in the first place. It's because the whole agenda of the writers has changed. Stephen Moffat just wanted to make a good, continuous story, but now all the writers just want to complain about political issues, which in my opinion isn't the way to write a Doctor Who story anymore. I think out of all the new episodes, this episode suffers the most from really just not having a direction at all. Sit here and talk for ages about how Doctor Who sucks as a whole and how this episode sucks just in general. But there are plenty of videos which go in depth on what went wrong with Doctor Who. And while this is the worst episode ever made for Doctor Who, I fear that it's only going to get worse unless somebody actually starts giving a shit about Doctor Who.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, why not leave it a like and subscribe to my channel. I do a whole range of other videos, from travel vlogs to gaming videos and reviews like this, so I'm sure there's going to be something here that you'd like. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments down below if you think any other episodes deserve these titles. I want to say a big thanks to Refresh Broccoli. It was his idea to make this video, so if he didn't reach out to me, then these videos wouldn't exist. Just in case you missed it earlier, another video should be going live very soon over on Refresh Broccoli's channel, where we're both going to look at the worst series of Doctor Who and the best series of Doctor Who, much like in the style of this video. So if you enjoyed this, why don't you go and check that out? And whilst you're over there, why not subscribe to him? He does quite different content than me, as he generally talks about drama and the more topical news, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it nonetheless. Anyway, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye! When Donna is supposedly killed... Please be quiet! I'm trying to film! Don't come in here, I'm trying to film. Ah! No.